Uh-oh, there really might be some disconnect between Vic Fangio and Devin White. At least he knows the most important thing to fix is the run defense. I know we want sacks, but it starts there. Although there's a couple players who spoke out thinking we can turn this around defensively. Plus, did Adam Schefter hint AJ Brown possibly being back for the Saints? Also, Saquon Barkley with a perfect message slash mindset. And did we honestly get a reasonable take from Collin Coherd on the Eagles? What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So, as we all know, AJ Brown told Lisa Salters on the sideline that he believes he's going to miss a couple weeks. However, Nick Sirianni said yesterday that he's not sure if AJ Brown will actually miss, that they will have a game plan with him and without him, which of course is what Nick Sirianni always does when it comes to injuries. He's very vague. However, there were some mixed opinions on whether or not AJ Brown could have played versus the Falcons. Dallas Goedert told reporters on Friday they believed there was a chance he could play, while Jalen Hurts said he knew he wasn't going to play. Now, of course, Jalen Hurts is closer to A.J. Brown than Dallas Goedert is to A.J. Brown, but it's still interesting, especially with Adam Schefter saying this. It wouldn't be shocking if Brown will miss the contest, but it certainly will be disappointing. Philadelphia could have used Brown in Week 2 against the Falcons. Unsurprisingly, Philadelphia's offense was less dynamic without the superstar wide receiver on the field. Key word is Schefter saying it wouldn't be shocking if Brown misses the Saints game instead of saying it the opposite way. So I don't know if there is a possibility for him to play. I understand coming off the loss to Atlanta, we need to get a W, but I don't want to risk his health for the future. It's still early in the season, and no matter how upset we are, we can still turn things around. Reed Blankenship was asked about the loss and the morale. Is it similar to last year? And he shook his head immediately.
You're already shaking your head.
Yeah, this is 2024 deal, not 2023. You know, we're way past that. We've matured. We know where we are. This locker room knows where we are. So
again, the national narrative is that they lost to the Falcons, and if you look at the last 9 games, the Eagles are 2-7. Me, I'm upset with the loss, but I don't look at it that way. Last year was last year. I do see a different type of camaraderie with these guys, and I expect, even though the Saints is a tough opponent, what they put on tape through 2 weeks, the Eagles are going to come play, especially on offense. Now, the D-line, stopping the run and rushing the passer, I have no idea if or when that's going to come to play. But Brandon Graham ain't giving up, and he knows there's a lot of talk about the pass rush and Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis's play, and he's keeping their spirits high. No mention of Bryce Huff, but listen.
You know what? I don't get frustrated because I want us all to have a good game, getting sacks, because people testing our gangster a little bit on us as a D-line, talking about where our sacks at. But I know it's gonna come, and I know for us, we work every day. And like I told JC and JD, like, block the noise out. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, everybody got a job to do, just like we got a job to do. So make sure they write what they're writing about. It's a great job at what you're doing right now. So can't worry about none of that stuff, man. I know that's part of the game. I'm just hoping that I can give you one in this one to help us win. Whoever get one and get that party started. Because once they come in bunches. And I'm just, I know somebody gonna start it off.
Again, I am very disappointed in what I've seen thus far, but it is only 2 weeks. Hopefully these guys turn up, or Howie Roseman makes a move. That being said, not having a pass rush will eventually, and it started to, against the Falcons, affect the Eagles' secondary. No matter how good of a corner you are, you can't guard somebody for 5 or 6 seconds, and then the one time they blitzed early in the game, Kirk Cousins still had time, and C.J. Garner got caught on an island, and it was a big touchdown. Still, I want to give a lot of credit to Quinyon Mitchell, who is tied for the most forced incompletions in the NFL. He did not play good on the last drive of the game. Definitely should have sunk back in coverage, but these are things he'll learn as he goes through them. And although Kamara got to be the Eagles' top priority for what he can do on the ground and through the air. Chris Olave and company at the wide receiver position with Derek Carr throwing to him ain't no slouch. So we going to need a bounce back game from Slay. We going to need Quinyon Mitchell to be locked in. And who knows if we end up seeing Isaiah Rodgers get some snaps, because he got to be healthy now. We talked about it yesterday. Posting this picture saying, I can only control what I can control. We will see how his role will be versus the Saints, especially with how things unfolded with the Falcons. As for the Eagles' run defense, I think as much as the players got to be better, so does scheme when it comes to stopping the run. Last year, 15% of running plays against the Eagles went for 8 or more yards. This year, that figure has almost doubled to 29%. And again, we're talking a short sample size, but we got to be better, or we'll never be able to even pin our ears back to get better at rushing the passer when teams continue to run the ball down our throat. Reuben Frank had this stat. Check this out. The Eagles are only the 7th team since the AFL-NFL merger in 1970 to allow 6.4 yards per carry and at least 315 rushing yards through 2 weeks. And that 6.4 figure would have been 6.7 if not for 2 Kirk Cousins kneel downs. Again, new D-line, new linebackers, moving parts. Fangio, different scheme. 2 games. Bijan is pretty good, and so is Josh Jacobs. This got to change. Hopefully, we're just going against 2 good Russian teams, and we could be better, because it is pitiful what we're putting on film, and the yards are gaining without even being contact. That has to do, to me, schematically, as much as the players are getting blown off the ball. Now, before we get to Devin White's mindset on possibly still playing in the future, Jalen Hurts' health and mindset, plus Saquon Barkley said we should be 2-0, and Collin Coherd has the most reasonable take on the remainder Eagle season. Let's hear a word from our sponsor, Manta Sleep. Literally sleep better anywhere, anytime with their sleep masks. They got the sound mask, the pro mask, the sleep mask, the silk mask, and so much more. Like I said, my favorite gotta be the sleep mask sound due to the fact that you can listen to things, Bluetooth, side speakers, but I also have the Sleep Mask Pro. It's a little smaller, probably easier to fidget with, but they're both super comfy, and like I said, you'll get your best sleep ever. So click the link in my description and or the pinned comment section. Once you do that, pick whatever mask you want and use code PhillyMike for 10% off your Sleep Pro, your Sleep Sound, any mask you want. Once again, that's PhillyMike, all capitals, for 10% off your sleep mask. You won't regret it. Moving on to the Devin White situation that caught me by surprise. He was injured versus the Packers in Brazil, and he was a healthy scratch versus the Falcons Monday night. They literally asked him, has Vic Fangio told you what you got to do to get on the field? Listen what he says.
What you can do to get out there?
Nah. Might tell y'all. I don't know.
That's crazy to me. Fangio needs to be talking to him on what he needs to improve or relaying something so he can get on the field. Shoot. Be creative. Use him as an edge rusher. Blitz him, right? One of the better linebackers at blitzing. I don't know. We need some help. Throw Jalix Hunt in there. We need something to spark this Eagles pass rush and D-line in general. Still, I'm hopeful he will get on the field because his attitude is right. They asked him after that, how do you stay so calm during this time?
I don't know. I think I've been through a lot of my life, good and bad, open and public, private, and it just make you grow up. You know what I'm saying? Everything not gonna always be in your favor, but it's about how you respond, how you handle yourself, but that's the only thing I can control. I can't put myself in the game, but I can control my attitude, my effort at practice, and just my swagger in the building still, coming here every day like a pro and handling my business rather, I feel like I got a son, he can cry when he don't get his way, that's for him to do, not me. I gotta set the example.
I really don't get the Devin White situation. Is it Fangio not liking his game? He's not being good? Because to me, he's saying all the right things. How could he be a healthy scratch? I just don't get it Moving on to Jalen Hurts, he was sick during that game. We heard his voice and he admitted it. However, I love the fact that he looks dynamic running the ball. 84 plus yards on the ground in crucial situations, the most yards he had since, guess what season? The 2022 season, where he was dropping dimes from the pocket, throwing on the run, and rushing dynamically, making it so hard to guard him and this offense. As for Saquon Barkley being the competitor he is, he's taking full responsibility. I'm cool with it, but let's not act like he's not going to lead us to so many victories.
We're 1-1. We should be 2-0. Obviously, I'm a big part of the reason why we're not 2-0 right now. But I like that. The urgency that we have, it got to be the same way every week. And for myself too, it's like, if we would have won that game, the same stuff that we watch film and try to improve on, the urgency that we have, it got to be like that from now on. And that's where I see where we can build up from.
This right here is going to fire him up. Saquon Barkley already has 26 touches in back-to-back games to start the season, and his 248 scrimmage yards rank him 7th in the NFL among all players. That's also the most scrimmage yards for any Eagle player through 2 games since Darren Sproles in 2014, and the drop was big. That, among other things, costed us a win. But we still didn't play good, even if we did sneak a win out. So a loss magnifies drops, missed tackles, no pass rush, no D-line, everything. And like he said, not only is he, but everybody is going to push themselves. Some of y'all believe this is a wake-up call. I low-key am starting to believe it, but at the end of the day, I need to see the response in New Orleans in a rough area. And listen, Kamara is no slouch. Tomorrow, I will have the full Eagles vs. Saints preview, breakdown, and prediction with the surprise. Lastly, I want to say shout out to Twitter. So many people tagged me in this, but Collin Coherd, who normally hates on the Eagles, had a reasonable, interesting take. I want to hear what y'all think about it.
Now let's talk Philadelphia. Very popular team. I'm actually concerned about the state of Pennsylvania. You do realize, if you look at all the polling, you're going to decide the presidential election. We need adults in the room here, not throwing a tantrum every time you lose a football game. Folks, Saquon catches the football, you're 2-0. You beat a team, if he catches the football, in Green Bay that could win their division, and Atlanta could win theirs. Kirk Cousins is good. It happens. It's football. Your division's a mess. Giants, Washington don't look very good. Dallas is typical Dallas roller coaster. You'll be fine. Now, Nick Sirianni's not Andy Reid. Who is? There's one. People even complained this weekend about Kyle Shanahan. Sean McVay's 0-2. John Harbaugh's 0-2. Yeah, you don't have Andy Reid. But A.J. Brown, your number one receiver, did not play. That is a thing. You can defend Philadelphia much differently when A.J. Brown's not on the field. For most of the game, you look like the better team. You also have a very expensive offense, and because of that, there's some liabilities or weaknesses on the back end. You know what you really are? And you should take pride in this. You're really the opposite of the Steelers. You're great at quarterback. You spend your money on offense, but you probably don't trust your defense to win a Super Bowl. Would you rather be the Steelers, who spend all their money on defense, and that quarterback room is just not good enough? 2-0 start. Yeah, check back in 8 weeks. So Philadelphia is going to win their division, I would imagine. And then ultimately, at some point late in the season, they're going to lose a game in January or maybe February. They just can't make a stop. Okay, so Jalen Hurts, let's look at the good news. Jalen Hurts, back to being dynamic. Jalen Hurts was something. A.J. Brown's returning. Saquon Barkley, say whatever you want to say about Saquon Barkley. He's clearly a really good player who just dropped a ball. Your offensive line's top 5 in the league. I need you to take a deep breath. Everything's going to be okay. Saquon catches it. You're 2-0 over 2 teams that could win a division.
With all that being said, let me know what you think about what Collin said and the whole video from the beginning to the end. Also, go get your sleep mask. I promise you won't regret it. The eye cuffs are so comfortable. It's like sleeping with pillows on your face. Lastly, muscle up if you got nothing to say, but please leave a comment. I absolutely love hearing from you. We out.